Uite, sar la bătaie.
Hey! Poliția, vină repede după noi!
Uitați!
Sună și la poliție, că vin cu noi, ne omoară acum!
Uite, fetița mea!
Sună!
Uite ce pățesc eu! Hoții de lemn ne-au făcut cu noi asta! Ne-au spart mașina toată! Uitați-vă!
The Timber Mafia. That is the name given to the horde of violent criminals that are responsible for not only the illegal logging of Romania's forests, but the vicious and brutal attacks against anyone who stands up to them. Today, I'm traveling across Romania with Vlad Bîrdu, a Romanian photographer, to try and document one of these active and potentially dangerous logging sites. We are right now diving into what is realistically probably the most dangerous topic I've covered or investigated, just because of the nature of what we're doing today. Some of you might be watching this and wondering what could be so dangerous about illegal logging. Well, let me tell you. Or rather, let me have Alex Nedea tell you. Alex is a world-renowned investigative journalist working at Recorder, a celebrated independent media outlet in Romania.
I've been investigating illegal logging for 13 years now in Romania, and during that time I managed to prove, during several documentaries I made, that illegal logging is one of the biggest problems Romanian society is facing nowadays. Each year, from Romanian forests disappears an amount of wood equal of 1 billion euros. It's a huge amount of money, but it's not only about the money. First and foremost is about our nature. We have the largest primary forests in all Europe here in Romania. The forests in the Carpathian Mountains are called the green lungs of Europe. So the forest in my country is our lungs. And also we can say that the forest in my country are the lungs you breathe with right now. So it's very, very important for us to keep this treasure we have here in Romania.
Ever since I started doing these investigative travel videos of sorts, I would always go on the subreddits for the countries I'm going to. For example, I went on the subreddit in the Philippines and asked the users there, hey, what stories do you think need to be told in your country? And I did the same here in Romania, and the very helpful users on the Romania subreddit gave me a lot of answers, but by far the most common answer was bringing up the topic of illegal logging here. It came up numerous times, so then I realized that obviously it was something that I had to cover. But every time the subject of illegal logging was brought up, it was accompanied by a warning that investigating this subject, this topic, would be very, very dangerous.
I will be straightforward. The forests are the most dangerous places for a journalist to be in Romania. During past years, in Romania, 600 rangers and foresters have been attacked by illegal loggers. 6 of them died. One of them was killed by an illegal logger who hit him in his head 4 times with his axe. We don't have rockets flying through the sky like in nearby Ukraine, but we have an army of armed illegal loggers roaming through the forest. And they hate journalists because the authorities are deeply corrupted, and the only one who can stop them are the journalists. This is why when they get one, usually it won't end well. Last year, 2 journalists and 1 environmental activist were filming inside the forest. While they were filming, they have been attacked by a group of locals and foresters. They have been beaten, they have been sequestrated. Also, one of them have been stripped naked and humiliated for the amusement of the others. Me, myself, I have been attacked in a forest 13 years ago. I have been sequestrated in a small shop nearby, and they continuously threatened me to death. They said they were going to behead them just because I wanted to do my job, to film inside their forest and to show to our nation what they did.
My initial plan, as suggested by Alex, was to safely document an old and inactive logging site near Cluj-Napoca. However, last night I was contacted by one of Alex's sources, Tiberiu Bosutar, the very same activist who was beaten and stripped naked by loggers. Tiberiu told me that he had some colleagues in the north of Romania in Maramureș who wanted me to come help them document an active site currently being used by illegal loggers. And so at the last minute, there was a pivot in the plans to go to Maramureș. Funnily enough, yesterday when I was talking to Alex from Recorder and he told me of this other safer location we could go to, I had mentioned how I was thinking of going to Maramureș, where we are headed right now. And he told me not to go to Maramureș unless we wanted to get beaten by savages on camera. So Vlad is nodding his head right now. He's nodding and shaking his head.
I told Aria not to go to Maramureș unless he wants to be beaten by some savages. They are living in the mountains. The few authorities nearby are not creating them problems, so they are not used with laws, they are not used with authorities.
Honestly, I don't know if there's something wrong with me, but like when I hear danger, I run to it. You know, I feel like if I'm all the way here in Romania, and maybe this is a very foolhardy and stupid way of looking at it, but I figure like if I'm here, I may as well, you know, tell the right story here. Like I don't want to half-ass it. Let's go to Maramureș. Let's just hear from these people that are actually in the fight. You know, I don't want to just visit a deforested site, take some pictures and leave. I want to go talk to people that are currently embroiled in this very active, very real, very serious fight. And I apologize, Vlad, that I'm dragging you along with me.
No, it's okay. I'm counting on your MMA skills.
As great as it would be for the video for you all, I'm sure it'd be very good to see a dramatic confrontation and maybe, you know, see me, you know, landing some punches.
No.
If Vlad says no, that's my point. I don't want that either. You know, it'd be great for you all. It's not great for us. So I basically say, don't be disappointed if nothing dangerous does happen. Be relieved, be happy for me, please. I'm just trying to break down just how dangerous the situation is, not just for us, but just for these people fighting this issue on a daily basis. And honestly, that's my reason, is because they're here, they're fighting this, putting their lives on the line on a daily basis, and I'm here, and so I feel like we need to contribute, you know, as much as we can during the short period that I'm here, and so fuck it, let's just go.
I feel very sad about what is happening now and what my nation is doing with its forests. There used to be a strong connection between the forest and the Romanians. This is why it is an ancient saying in Romania, codrul e frate cu românul, which means the forest is the Romanian brother. And now what we are doing? We are killing our beloved brother with cold blood.
The journey from Bucharest to Borșa was a long one, but it was actually a beautiful drive through the gorgeous Romanian countryside. And 7 hours and several Milka chocolate bars later, we arrived in Borșa and were greeted by Grec Nicoară, one of Tiberiu's fellow activists.
Hello. Hello, hello.
Thank
Hello, my
you.
friend. Welcome to Romania.
I'm sorry I don't speak Romanian, but thank you.
No problem.
Thank you for being here and taking me out
Welcome,
there.
you're welcome.
Thank you very much. Grec and his cousin Roland are fairly new activists, but have since been going into the mountains on a near daily basis to try and document the activities of illegal loggers in their community.
Astăzi urmează să mergem acolo sus unde pe zona Novăț, unde s-a găsit acea defrișare, adică una dintre aceleași defrișări și unde s-a găsit miile de cioate.
Ce credeți că o să găsim acolo?
Ce o să credem? Ce credeți că o să
Masacru.
găsim? Dezastru, masacru.
Din Texas, masacru din Texas.
So we actually are heading to the mountains right now. We're going to be taking a Jeep, their Jeep, which I'm slightly relieved about because this is a rental. And we saw what happened to Tiberiu and his car, and I'd rather just pay him out of pocket if his car gets rammed off the road.
Yeah, and they said their car is prepared for this, so...
Their car's prepared?
Yeah,
What does that
yeah,
mean, their
it's-
car's prepared for this?
I mean, it's a special car that they built for this kind of roads.
Oh, for these roads?
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
yeah.
even if they're prepared for, like, attacks.
No, man. It's not Mad Max. We're not quite there
My
yet.
mind always jumps. However, before leaving up the mountain, Grec and his wife were kind enough to surprise me with a little local hospitality.
Băi, nu trebuia, că tocmai ziceam că mergem să...
Mai ales dacă e proaspătă.
All this food is traditionally made here, like it's from Borșa.
And this is, what was it?
Slăninuța.
Slăninuța,
Or slănina.
slanina, and then tomato. Roshi. Now I'm ready to go in the mountains. Run. And fight. Oh, what is that?
Pune dacă mai vrei.
What is it?
Sour milk.
Sour milk?
Like meat that got spoiled.
Wow. Wow. That's very good. I thought I was not going to like that. This is a local produced alcoholic, nor this is just, this bottle is just a
They
way
made it
to...
here, like in this house.
They made this in this house?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so I'm going to try it. I don't normally like alcohol. Oh. No.
How is it?
Strong. Well, I'm glad he's driving the Jeep. Taking the Jeep proved to be the right call because soon enough, we found ourselves on a very bumpy dirt road headed up the mountains and deep into the Romanian forests.
The loggers, the people that are stealing this wood, they are leaving marks in the road, so they would know if anybody came here, like just a branch put in some kind of way.
Informații că în seara respectivă, de fapt, ele erau obișnuiți să fure lemne din pădure și să le aducă fără aviz, fără nimic.
A month ago, they made like a sting operation where they catch the thieves drawing the wood from the forest. But the police is corrupt a bit, so someone told the people that were getting wood out of the forest, the police is coming, and the thief just
They got away.
Yeah,
That's so
just ran.
frustrating.
Zic că am mai avut o situație de genul, în urmă cu vreo 2-3 ani, așa, tot așa am primit o informație că transportă covoră la vale fără acte.
Da.
Și am sunat la poliție, dar nici măcar nu a venit poliția.
Adică exact pe față. Sesizezi și tot îl susține.
There is a huge amount of wood coming out of the forest without papers. This is not a phenomenon which can be possible without the consent of the Romanian authorities. The corruption is endemic. The corruption is deeply rooted on the top of the government.
The guy that is in charge of all this theft in the area has a lot of influence. People got beaten.
So people have been beaten here?
Yeah, on this road that we're going also. Were beaten and they were intimidated into not talking.
Where we're going?
On this road, yeah. As and in this community now.
Aici avea el vagonul, deci aici avea, cum vă zic, și aici și acolo în spate are rampa.
The place that you're seeing now is the place where they were gathering the wood that they were extracting from some places around
where we're
here.
going, this is where they would take the wood.
Yeah, exactly.
So this wood here is most likely
probably
illegally deforested.
So this was kind of a base of gathering the wood and putting it into trucks so it can be transported wherever it needed to be sold.
It's so interesting to see. I mean, if you look all around, I mean, this whole area is just gorgeous. You got like a little babbling creek over here, and you know, right next to all this beautiful nature, you have a site where all these atrocities against this beautiful forest is situated. Yeah, it's frustrating. It is frustrating. You know, I mean, like to hear that they had a sting operation that went successfully, but then basically all their efforts were for naught because the police didn't do it. The police were tipped off, right? You said the corrupt police tipped off the people that they caught. It's just, I can see why it feels sometimes very hopeless, you know?
Teoretic, unde știți că sunt locurile cu cea mai mare distrugere. They are taking the good trees, the valuable trees out, and when they are chopping them down, the falling trees are hurting the younger trees, as you see there, like how they are bent and...
Ok, hai să coborâm aici.
We're at this new logging site now where they've just begun tearing down this part of the forest, and so we're going to head on down, we're going to follow and get some shots of this place and, you know, just document an unfortunately fresh new foresting spot. I can see why he brought hiking boots. I don't know why we were going to the forest. I didn't think he'd bring hiking boots. Venim! I don't know why I decided to wear jeans for this as well.
Uite aici, vezi? Uite, a venit garda forestieră, dar ori nu au ajuns domnii aici, ori nu le-au marcat, au uitat sau cine știe.
So, ciotul ăsta e de la un arbore sănătos, nu? Sau a fost...
Bineînțeles, normal. Și ăla, uite acolo.
One of the most common method of stealing trees is to get papers for dead wood, but instead the companies are entering the forest and cut healthy trees using those kind of papers. It's a complete disaster using this method because you are killing the forest. Instead of bringing out the dead wood, which can infest the healthy trees, you leave the dead wood there and you cut the healthy trees. You will have soon enough a dead forest there.
Ilegal.
This is an illegal road, like made with that tractor that we saw before.
Aici, dezastru.
Moments later, after venturing deeper into the woods, I found myself face to face with a level of destruction I hadn't expected to see firsthand.
Disaster, look.
As we were coming down the forest, we were seeing a few stumps and some trees cut here and there, and so my mind hadn't really processed the fact that I'd be seeing this level of destruction, and it's just, having driven up this mountain, through this beautiful forest, and then to see just this center, this whole chunk of it, just like missing. It's terrible.
Terrible, very terrible.
Disaster is the right word. A human-made disaster. This isn't a natural disaster. This is like, and this is just one like plot where this is happening. I'm still just processing this. I mean, just seeing all these stumps of healthy trees, and just like, I live in Los Angeles, so we have wildfires there. So I've seen, that sort of devastation when it comes to forestry, to wildlife. But to know that this is all man-made is just, I don't know. The only word that really comes to mind when I look at all this is just it's heartbreaking. It really just is.
Această persoană a defrișat. Deci nu sunt mai multe persoane, o singură persoană. Înțelegi? Tot.
Apparently, there is this guy that had this land in administration, in forest administration, which practically means he's allowed to do the cutting of the ill trees based on proper documentation and identification. But he did this, what you're seeing here.
So let me get this straight. So a guy basically is assigned this piece of the forest, and he's assigned it with the assumption that he's going to protect it and keep it healthy.
Yeah.
But you're telling me that this man instead he allowed all this to happen.
Yeah, he did this.
This is what it is happening right now in Romania. They auction a specific amount of wood and then they let the companies to get inside the forest and take their trees from that forest. And the companies, most of the time, they cut more trees or other trees than they are allowed in the papers. So we have to stop selling the trees from the forest. We have to start selling the trees from the deposit, for example.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm thinking. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking this man should be fucking... How did he even get assigned this? I mean, that's just like... It's like, who is he?
He's a local guy here that has like forums and stuff.
Oh, so yeah, he's just some corrupt.
So a businessman.
Se ocupă cu exploatări forestiere, dar vedeți ce exploatează, cum exploatează, în ce fel.
How do you say the word fucking criminal in Romanian?
Nenorocit.
Is that a bad word?
It's a usable word.
And how do you say anorocit?
Crazy criminal.
Criminal, anorocit?
Nenorocit.
Nenorocit. I mean, not even just crazy, it's just like it's disgusting.
Îmi spune că asta e crimă contra naturii normal, dacă stai.
Can you tell him that the word I would use to use this is heartbreaking? That's the word that really comes to mind.
Îl doare inima.
It's yeah.
This is the life.
I think there is hope. The Romanian authorities have been pressed by the public opinion, have been forced by mass media to take steps on tackling this phenomenon. The most important step is to stop the companies to enter the forest.
Așteptăm să se ia măsuri. Ne frică, bineînțeles că ne frică, că se pot întâmpla foarte multe chestii. Nu suntem noi fricoși de fel, dar se pot întâmpla, asta e. Ne asumăm riscul, asta e. Pentru binele comunității și pentru întregii comunități ne asumăm riscul. Sper să fie și alții să ne fie aproape la chestia asta.
Guys, just Google the Ministry of Environment in Romania and send emails like stop cutting your trees, you stupid. Stop cutting the forest of your country, you stupid. You idiot. You idiots. So like that, something like that. Maybe it will help.
Că ne pasă că trăim în orașul ăsta, avem familie și nu pot să trecem așa cu vederea și să fim nepăsători.
My thoughts are very simple. Alex, are you stupid? What are you doing in this job? What you are doing in the forest? Why are you doing this year after year? And my answer is not so clear. I love what I am doing. I'm convinced that the purpose is a good one. I'm convinced that I'm doing the right thing. I will do my best as a journalist to try to stop this crime.